We made it. Week 1 is here, so we're making our picks for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Offensive Player of the Year today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase.
Joe, not only is week 1 of the NFL season here, we also had week 1 of the college football season that has come and gone, with the exception of Bill Belichick's debut at North Carolina against TCU tonight.
I know. I'm excited to see
old
Bill in the Carolina blue.
And speaking of TCU, co-worker Gary Patterson with Locked On. Locked On College Football Show.
Very, very good call out. Very good call out. So
check it out.
Watched a little college football over the weekend. I did. Peeped a little bit. Saw a lot of disappointment is what I saw. Felt like.
Well, depends on what your perspective is. Were you drinking the tea on, or the Kool-Aid on, this being the greatest NFL draft class in the history of mankind? Because if so, then you're a little disappointed.
I normally wait for a season to play out before I make declarations like that, but I'm going to sound like an old man right now, but I'm fired up some college football, and I put on it was a Friday night. It was North Carolina, or it wasn't North Carolina, it's Charlotte against App State, and they start the game by saying 112 players are new combined between these two programs. And I'm watching this game, and it's like the punter takes the field, and it's like, this punter was a transfer from Iowa State, and before that was at Vanderbilt. It's like, how does anyone keep up with this, man? This is crazy.
Yeah, I do not. I cannot wrap my head around even like the recruiting phase of this journey that these kids go on, and the recruiting coverage that exists. My head spins. And now you have an annual transfer portal that's unlimited. It's limitless. I almost said unlimitless. That would have gotten me roasted for sure. But
Russ Wilson was intrigued there. He wanted to know where you were going to go with
that. Mr. Unlimitless. So I do agree with you from that phase. It's almost like it's overwhelming amidst all the conference change and then the college football playoff changes, and but I'm enjoying football on TV.
Yes,
and we're gonna enjoy NFL football on our TV 2 days this week before the weekend rolls around, because we get a Thursday night game and we get a Friday night game, Joe.
So our intent today, we're going to dive into 3 of the major awards. Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. But we start with MVP. And so Kyle and I, we're going to make our picks. We're going to talk about the field. We'll talk about some dark horse candidates. Josh Allen, your reigning NFL MVP. He's not the favorite. Right now, the favorite, according to FanDuel, is Lamar Jackson at plus 490. Josh Allen right behind him at plus 500. Mahomes and Burrow at plus 600. Number 5 is Jaden Daniels at plus 1,000.
And I kind of feel like I take the field versus Lamar and Josh. Don't you feel like you hit a certain point where fatigue exists? And like, I think Lamar Jackson, with how good he was last year, and I don't want to get into the splitting hairs debate of Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, but I don't think Lamar winning the award the previous year helped Lamar's case to win the MVP award last year.
Probably so. I would say that I think Lamar Jackson had his best statistical season last year, and I think statistically he was better than Josh Allen. But I think you can appreciate that the voters factored in the true essence of the award, which is the value that the player brings. And I thought Josh was the rightful MVP. But I think Josh has a tough path to repeat because I think it comes down to numbers, right? Everyone expects him to be awesome. And last year was not Josh Allen's best statistical season. It certainly was in terms of ball security, but
efficiency.
He's had more touchdowns and yards for sure than last year.
Yeah.
And so I think if Josh is going to be the MVP, I think he's got to have like 10 or fewer turnovers, but 5,000 combined yards and maybe like 50 touchdowns. I think that's his path. And I don't know if that'll happen. But I do look at Lamar, Kyle, and I feel like he's the rightful favorite, and I'll spoil it. He's going to be my pick.
Mm-hmm.
And just think about this, dude. Like all that continuity for that offense, you basically just add Hopkins. Everything else is the same. And you had year one of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and we saw what type of production that unlocked for both players. Now you have a second season with an improved receiver core and more experience on your offensive line where you had some questions there last year with some young players that are now starters entering year two. I'm expecting huge numbers from Lamar, and if that's the case, I think he'll be MV3.
Wow, MV3.
I did it.
I want to know what planet are we living on that Caleb Williams has the 13th best MVP odds of any player in the NFL on FanDuel?
Is it Ben Johnson expectations, good preseason, weapons?
Did Caleb have a good preseason?
He had
one good drive against Buffalo.
Found some wide open dudes, man. Ripped it.
I don't know. I just see some of the names behind him. Matthew Stafford has worse MVP odds than Caleb Williams.
Bo Nix.
Saquon Barkley, Bo Nix. That's all. I always like to go into this kind of hunting for like value if I was going to do a bet, right? And I think the loaded roster element that exists with Lamar, I think there's going to be a lot of production there. I think if Joe Burrow can carry the Bengals to the playoffs, I think he'd be a outstanding candidate. Like I might talk myself into him being the pick, as I just did my record prediction. I sent it to you, and I had the Bengals as a bubble team. If they get the one game that breaks the right way and they make the playoffs, and I think that's what their playoff outlook looks like. Is I think they're right there with like three other teams on the bubble for like a 6-7 seed. That would be the crowning achievement, I think, versus we expect Buffalo and Baltimore and maybe to a lesser extent Kansas City is, Lamar, Josh, and Patrick Mahomes, those guys all. But if I told you any of those teams won 13 games, would you be surprised?
You expect them to, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I might pick Joe Burrow. I might talk myself into picking Joe Burrow here. And look, he was less than 100 yards away from a 5,000-yard season last year, and that feat has not been achieved in 3 seasons. I think Pat was the last one to do it, and that's what they're going to need from Joe Burrow, and they brought the whole gang back to do it.
Yeah, I definitely buy into that narrative. I mean, if they overcome that defense and get to the postseason and Burrow puts up the numbers he's capable of, he'll have a heck of a case. How about as a dark horse, Jared Goff, plus 3,500? New coordinator, 2 new offensive linemen. Expectations are a little lower. I don't know, it's a little bit of the Josh Allen path where expectations dip a little bit and you produce and you do things that they said you couldn't. And you get there. They go win 14 games, win the North. Jared Goff.
Jared's been doing things that they said he couldn't since his rookie season, though. Like, don't you feel like there's a certain subsect of players that, like, it doesn't matter what they do? There's, like, the subconscious bias of the story that was written for those players early in their career.
Sure.
And, like, what do you have to do to break that mold? Right? Like, and Jared's had outstanding seasons. They won 15 games.
Yeah.
Sure, right? Like, and Jared was excellent for most of it. They were an absolute wagon of a football team. The injuries took their toll in the postseason and some untimely turnovers for Detroit in the playoff game, but that wasn't in the MVP conversation. Right. I think I would take Baker Mayfield as a dark horse before I would take Jared Goff.
Passed for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, which is ironic because you could probably make an argument that Baker exists in the same subsect of players in the book that was written on them. The difference was Baker had a record-setting rookie season, I think, right?
Yeah.
Versus Jared had a record-setting rookie season in a bad way.
In the wrong ways, yeah.
So, I don't know. I wrestle with that when trying to predict the MVP voting, knowing that the people who vote have those subconscious storylines that exist, and it feels like they really, at times, hold on to them.
All right, we'll get Kyle's pick. I gave you mine. We'll get that on the other side of it. Get into the defensive player of the year here next. So, folks, be sure to stick with us. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. And that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, it's easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking NFL games as low as $100, and the app made it simple. I could see the exact view from my seat before purchasing. Honestly, it's just faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way that I bought tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Folks, the NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, whether that's player props. You can build a same-game parlay, over-unders, or you can jump into the live betting as well. Hey, maybe you like these futures bets that we're going into. You like some of these players that we're talking about for these awards. Get in on the action over at FanDuel. It's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add more energy to your Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place that first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets. We have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to LockedOnPodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's LockedOnPodcast.com/survey. You can also find a link in today's show notes. We appreciate you for helping us out.
I was going to wee-woo you on the Dolphins just announcing their team captains for 2025.
How many are there?
We have 6.
Oh,
guys.
6.
6. It's not one of those 9-team teams, but it's not one of those 3-team teams.
I want to bury some time into guessing those, but I don't think we should because I love doing that.
So then instead, I want to read you this tweet or X, whatever you want to call it.
Post.
From a new free agent, Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
Did you see this over the weekend?
I know that he's available. I don't know about this tweet that you're about to tell me.
Why is Jabril? And this is what Jabril Peppers said. Going on year 9 in this league, I've had 7 head coaches and 6 defensive coordinators. LOL. There's no scheme you can place me in where I won't find a way to be effective.
Wow. Let's go. Mike Vrabel taking the blowtorch to everything Elliott Wolf has done.
Why did we cut Jabril Peppers?
Probably because Elliott Wolf signed him to a contract extension.
So Jalen Hawkins and Craig Woodson, and I like Craig Woodson coming out of Cal, but because it's not going to be Kyle Duggar, right?
Right. All the conversations about Kyle Duggar, and they released Jabril Peppers.
Yeah, Duggar survives because his money's too big, and nobody's like, that's a lot of money for a guy you got to have a role for. That's a little late in the process to make a role for in our defense.
All right.
Would you be excited if the Bills signed Jabril Peppers?
Yes. Did they sign him? Is that one you're going to tell me?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'd be excited. And I had somebody reach out. I was like, I'd be stunned if Peppers gets out of the AFC East with these teams in their safety rooms. Like, all 3 of these teams are totally be in on Jabril Peppers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jabril Peppers, I don't know what his NFL Defensive Player of the Year odds are on FanDuel, but I do know Micah Parsons currently sitting at the top of the list at plus 500. I don't know when you curated your list, if you got it before the Parsons trade with Dallas. Maybe you have a different name at top, but it certainly feels like he's getting the juice right now, Aiden Hutchinson plus 750, Myles Garrett plus 850, TJ Watt plus 1,000, Will Anderson plus 1,100, and then Nick Bosa and Jared Verse tied at plus 1,500 atop the odds on FanDuel.
Who's your MVP pick?
It's Joe Burrow.
Okay, that's a good choice. It's a good choice. So you went through the top of the DPOY list.
Yes. This is a pass rusher award, let's be honest, right?
It is.
You have to have superhuman efforts as a DB and then also have a crappy year across the board for all the top pass rushers.
I don't know. Trey Hendrickson's probably like, yo, what are you talking about? I had 17 and a half sacks, and Pat Surtain won it last year. That was definitely different type of year.
I just watched the corner with 10 picks not get it.
I know. I was waiting for that.
And the pass rusher that got it had like 12 and a half. So
I know.
I don't know.
That player is now with the Colts.
That's right.
Week 1 Dolphins opponent.
That's right. I'm surprised Micah Parsons has odds that are overwhelmingly out in front of the pack.
Well, I think it's also important to call out what odds are, right? Not necessarily
They're opportunistic.
Right. It's opportunity. Why wouldn't you put Micah Parsons right here at plus 500 and catch the hype here, you know? And he could certainly do it. He could certainly be the DPOY. I would not be surprised if that was the case. I think if there is something I am surprised about, it's Aiden Hutchinson coming off of injury at plus 750. I think he's going to have a great year, and he was probably on a path last year to be it.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, he's just going to pick it up and get going here?
So I think part of this for Detroit, they still haven't signed that other pass rusher.
Right.
So
keep waiting for it. What's going on?
We still have some of these injuries that exist on the defensive front. Now, they've got an outstanding core of the secondary behind him. So I think it's maybe a little bit less of the extreme degree of how I view Max Crosby. Where like Max Crosby in Las Vegas has more weight on his shoulders for his unit than I think any other defensive player in football. Maybe Trey Hendrickson you can make a case for now that he's back with the Bengals again this year, and they've transitioned away from some of their players that had been core players for them since they made their run to the Super Bowl. But for Aiden, like if he has that much weight and they end up, whether they do sign Zadarius Smith and it's, or get off the pot time and they finally make that decision and they do it, or they don't, and Hutchinson has the kind of year like he showed he was on pace to be last year. I mean, how many pressures did he have? And he played like 5 games.
It is insane. It was insane.
Unbelievable pace.
Killing dudes, yeah.
He's going to be my pick this year, is Aiden. I do think he's going to be back with a vengeance. I think that injury happened early enough in the year. I look at the composition of the pass rush group that they have there. And if they were eager to give him that award last year, right? And then he got hurt. It was, oh my God, Aiden Hutchinson is blowing the doors off everybody, right? He was a draft darling. I think he'll capitalize on that. I think if he has a competitive season, I think if Detroit has the double-digit wins a year like we're looking at, and you're talking 15-plus sacks for Aiden Hutchinson, I think he's going to win the award.
At the risk of sounding like a hater, and I don't mean this to be that way, Jared Verse and his 4.5 career sacks at plus 1,500. Come on, he's got better odds than Crosby. He's got twice the odds of Hendrickson. Like, what is it? Just expecting a massive explosion there? Like, I think he's an awesome player. I love Jared Verse. I had a first-round grade on him. I think he's super good. But this is really quick to put him in this type of territory.
I mean, if you want to just get into the value conversation, 2 pass rushers that went just a few picks apart. Jared Verse plus 1,500, Chop Robinson and plus 7,500.
Chop had double the. Did he have double the sacks? Close to it.
He had more sacks and he had nearly as many pressures as Jared Verse. And Chop was bad the first 6 weeks of the season.
What don't I know here? I think that's a heck of a call out. Those odds should be similar.
Well, Teron Armstead said he was glad he didn't have to play Jared Verse anymore when he did his retirement media stops, and Verse won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year and played in Los Angeles with a team that
was not very good on defense,
but he was good.
Okay.
And I do love that front.
Yeah.
I think the best case you can make for Verse is they've got a loaded front with talent, but he still has the name brand to stand out amongst all of it. Because, I don't know, like, did Fisk get any? I know he was a finalist for the award, the Defensive Rookie of the Year award last year, but where's Fisk on this list? Right? Like, does he exist at all on this list?
Right.
So I think that's what Verse has in his back pocket is he's got a lot of really good players around him on that defensive line, but like none of them have household name value. And Jared Verse, through his rookie season, has already acquired household name value.
All right. You want my pick now or after the break?
Pick it after the break since I formalized my Joe Burrow pick after the break.
All right.
First time.
My pick for DPOY coming up next, folks. Be sure to stick with us. This episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. The NFL season is here, and you can feel the buzz. Fantasy football season is here, folks. Everyone's researching, drafting, and building their championship squads. If you haven't joined a league yet, you got to do it. Now's the time, and it's all happening at Yahoo Fantasy. This year I'm playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether it's your first ever league or a veteran in your millionth league. Yahoo Fantasy is loaded with fun ways to compete and brand new features that make the game even better. With season kickoff on September 4th, you got to start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now, which offers so many fun ways to compete. You want to try some new ways? Well, get in on the Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine League mode, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until one is left standing. Want to play instantly with friends? Well, try the new Draft with Friends mode. Prefer the classics? Get your crew together and go head-to-head in a private league. No crew, no problem. Join a public league, the easiest way to play. The NFL season kicks off on September 4th, so don't wait. Start your league now. Draft now at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That's yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does all the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. And Monarch makes it simple to review finances with your partner. You can both see budgets, goals, and spending activity in one place. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL.
Your pick.
Will Anderson. Will Anderson from the Texans.
We just kind of brushed right over, right?
Well, look, I kind of like that about him as my pick this year. And I thought he came alive so much in the playoffs. He's obviously a phenomenal player. Like, I don't want to make it like he just came alive in the playoffs, but I think what he showed in the playoffs, year 3, contract extension eligible, pass rushers are getting paid all the money in the world. This guy's staring at an opportunity for $40+ million a year. Go be the DPOY. And you'll be talking to Micah Parsons on your private island that you guys are able to claim somewhere. So I'm riding that, right? That momentum from the playoffs where the contract situation's headed. And obviously, I think so much of Houston's defense, especially their pass defense, I think they're going to have, everything they need in terms of a complimentary rush and coverage for him to put up big numbers. So put me down for Will Anderson this year.
I dig it. I think that's a good call out. I also think there's some pretty good value, I think, to be had with Nick Bosa, too.
Sure, he needs some help.
Getting back with Salah, and they've invested some in the defensive front if it comes together. And
a lot of young players.
Yep, I think that's a good thing, though. I think they were ready for kind of that next nucleus to step in.
Offensive Player of the Year. The favorite is Saquon Barkley. It's at plus 650. Then Jamar Chase at plus 800. Number 3 is Justin Jefferson, plus 1,200. Jahmyr Gibbs, plus 1,300. Derrick Henry, plus 1,400. And right behind him, Bijan Robinson and Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,500.
Man. I think you have a few things that you could probably set your expectations on, right? Is it fair to say your AP Offensive Player of the Year, we're going to assume it's not a quarterback because the quarterback's going to win the MVP award.
Yeah, I agree.
Is it fair to say 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns is the minimum thresholds for statistical production for you to say, yeah, you're going to win that award?
Yeah, I think so.
So that whittles the list a little bit, because now you can look at every single player and you can ask, do I think you're going to get 1,500 yards and 12 plus touchdowns? Yes or no? And if your answer is no, then you shouldn't be voting on him to win the award. Right?
I think all of the leading candidates, I kind of expect that from.
Saquon, yes. Jamar Chase, yes. Justin Jefferson, yes. Maybe a little bit more variance because of J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs, yes. Derrick Henry, did it last year.
1,900 yards and however many.
He led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. Set a franchise record for rushing touchdowns. Derrick Henry did. Bijan Robinson. Is that maybe where it starts to get a little cloudy? 1,500.
He had like 400 touches last year, man.
Yeah. It's on the upper bands of his outcomes, but I think that's where you start to wane a little bit. And McCaffrey, concerns with the health.
Yeah.
They just brought in Brian Robinson. Nico Collins.
Nico Collins feels like a dark horse choice, though.
Uh-huh.
He's a familiar face for C.J. Stroud in this passing game. Obviously, he's unbelievably talented. He makes explosive plays on the field. Like, I think he can certainly pass that 1,512 touchdown threshold.
I think Puka Amon-Ra and Malik Nabers is a nice little pocket of value.
Yeah.
That, like, I think it's within the upper bands of their outcomes as well. I mean, Amon-Ra, like, how much is his workload going to get ate into from Isaac Tesla and Jamison Williams, right? Like, if he continues to get 180 targets, like, I think you probably have to fight that bias that exists with the voters in the same way that we talked about earlier with a guy that slipped to the fourth round. He's an outstanding story. He's far outperformed the draft stock. He's one of the best wide receivers in football, but he's not even the highest ranked player on the preseason odds list in his own offense.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that's where it really starts to get. I would be surprised if it's anybody outside of the top 2, 4, 6, 8. Probably the top 8. Now, I might lay some money on some guys like Josh Jacobs, I think could.
Yeah.
Plus 4,000. It's pretty attractive odds, right? I don't know. Where did Tyreek Hill, when he was getting 1,700 yards, where did he finish in the voting?
I suppose I don't think he did very well, did he?
I'll tell you.
That's a good call out. Yeah, that was, I mean, statistically the type of year that positions you to be there. Where
I mean, he had in 2023 he had 1,799 yards and 13 touchdowns and finished second for AP Offensive Player of the Year that year behind Christian McCaffrey, who got 89% of the first place votes.
That was his full healthy season in San Francisco.
That was the 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 21 touchdowns from scrimmage year. Yeah.
That's what it takes, huh? to bump that.
And case in point, CeeDee Lamb had 16 more receptions than Tyreek Hill did, had 1749 and 12 touchdowns, and finished third in the voting with one first place vote.
This is
fun stat for you. You ready?
Yeah.
The top 8 in AP Offensive Player of the Year voting. We just went through the top 3 from the 2023 season. It was Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy were next in the line. And then another position player. Who was it?
In 23?
Yeah, 23. McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. This player finished
was
eighth.
it Puka?
It was not Puka Nacua.
23.
Yeah, that was the CJ Stroud, Puka Nacua, Sam Laporta. These were like the rookies of the year. Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. You never in a million years guessed that Travis Etienne was the 8th place finisher.
My guess was going to be Waddle because I thought he had a big year too, right? With Tyree.
His big year was in 23 when he led the league in.
But that was 23, right?
Or in 22, excuse me.
Okay.
He had a better statistical year in 22.
Oh.
Travis Etienne with 267 carries for 1,008 yards. But 11 touchdowns.
We had a drop off here.
And then he averaged 3.8 yards per carry, but caught 58 balls for 476 yards. So he had almost 1,500 yards.
He got votes.
And 12 touchdowns. Yeah. He was 8th place finisher for Offensive Player of the Year at 3.8 yards per carry. And because he had almost 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Okay.
Who's your pick? Who you like here?
I have a hard time not being fully convinced that it's going to be Jamar Chase. I mean, this guy's going to get 200 targets, push for 2,000 yards, push for 20 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I mean, the chemistry is just off the charts, and so is the skill set. So,
and if I'm going to pick Joe Burrow to win the MVP, by extension, Jamar Chase probably should have my AP Offensive Player of the Year vote.
Right.
That's a lot of stock in one offense, though. If the Giants are relevant at all, I would not sleep on Malik Nabers.
Speaking of 200 targets.
Right. He's plus 2,500.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds there for you expect Abel to kind of get the vertical passing game going. He's going to get all the passes. Russ Wilson, moonball Russ. And then Jackson Dart, big play hunter at Ole Miss.
Is it going to matter if they win 6 games?
That's what I said. They have to be relevant.
Yeah.
They have to be relevant for him to get that kind of attention.
My long shot's Nico Collins. I love Bijan Robinson as a candidate as well.
With Penix and the unknown there, I think I'm going to talk myself into Bijan Robinson just to be different from Jamar Chase.
All right.
So there you go. We have a bunch of predictions this week. We have the rookies and coach of the year. Tomorrow, what is it? Is it record predictions for all 32 teams on Wednesday?
Yes.
And then we make our week 1 picks on Thursday, and then we have takes on Friday.
Assuming another blockbuster trade doesn't happen on Thursday to spoil takes on takes.
Feel pretty good about the lack of a blockbuster trade with week 1 being here, but you never know. That's going to do it for us. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino, appreciate you guys as always. Check out the show. Make it a great rest of your Monday. And we'll be back to talk to you all again tomorrow.